it was a sweet surprise that they noticed. I was like,
Yeah.
Guess we are onto something here.
And what was also really amazing about it is then when we're helping all of the couples and the friends that we're closest to enrich their marriage and grow in their life, everybody starts to get in on it together. When they're doing well and they're doing well, then we get to do better. And this average, it just raises the tide. And it's just special to be surrounded in a group of married people that actually care about being married, that want to be there for their partner and their ride or die in a way that their parents didn't model and their parents didn't model. Like, we're choosing to show up in a different way, and there's a lot of excitement in that for us.
Yeah, being surrounded by positivity, so important.
Yeah.
James, do you know how do you know how to ask the right question to those couples? To help them find clarity, or I'm sure you have, like you said, you have a recipe, but how do you know what to ask them?
My next question is always embedded in their current answer.
Okay.
Right. And so the recipe of it is most people try to protect, and whether this is how I see myself or this is how I want others to see me. And there's always one question that can just allow them to stop protecting and be seen. Like, let me show you how I feel. Let me show you. And I guess the strategy is relentless question asking until we hit that point.
And I think some probably I'll chime in with some personal experience, right? We have a great counselor of our own. At the first session we met with her, she asked James a question, just like hit him to his core. He started tearing up. I've seen this man cry like 3 times in our marriage, and he's like tearing up. And I'm like, this lady is worth her money.
Oh, yeah.
But he's able to, he has somehow honed that skill as well, where he's just, I don't know if it's an intuition.
It's partly, and at the core, every human has the same desire, right? We want to love and be loved, right? And that's one of them, I think. And what I'm trying to get at is what's in the way of that. And our counselor that day, what was in the way of that for me was a whole history and lifetime of religious sexual shame. And one solid question.
The worst.
Cracked him open.
Cracked me, and I was like, oh, I didn't realize that was actually bothering me, And that triggered in my ability to learn how to be vulnerable, which was super uncomfortable. And in that, I do think there's a vulnerability for me in asking tough questions and giving people the invitation to answer them.
And I read that you also believe in the law of attraction. We really love that in this show, so...
Oh, man, I love me some Esther Hicks. Come on. Abraham, my
yes, it's Abraham. Oh my God. Yeah, I used to listen to that podcast all the time. I haven't listened to her for a long time. But you like that lady?
She makes me feel seen and safe and powerful and aligned. And aligned is the key word there.
Aligned, yes. Have you ever been to one of her discussion, or because she does? I mean, she used to. I don't know if she still does it actually, but I think she came here 3 or 5 years ago in San Francisco, but I couldn't go. Have you ever been to one of her talk?
Twice.
Oh, twice. Okay, so you really into it.
Fanboy.
She's good.
And it's interesting. Every now and again, I go through a season of life where I kind of move away from that being extremely prevalent in my life, and then when I come back to it, it always feels like home. That's what law of attraction feels like. It feels like home.
Yeah.
For me, it feels like empowering as well, right? It's like there are things that I can do, right, with my mindset and my focus and attention and all these things and my own vibration that are going to help me, right? So I'm not just like a victim to whatever's happening to me, right? But I can, I feel empowered to play a role in what I'm creating.
That's where core desired emotions come from, right? If we don't know exactly what we want, well, this is how we want to feel.
Yeah. And talking of empowerment, I was going to ask you, Angela, how do you empower women to embrace their goddessness? Because I saw that on your website. Yeah. How can you help me?
I think, and I'll out myself, I'm in my 40s, right? And so I think there were some things growing up where women, societally, whatever, were somewhat taught to play small, right? To not really be our authentic, fully expressed self, right?
Mhm.
And some of that was shame oftentimes. And I have dear soul, I don't have any biological sisters, but I have dear soul sisters who have been my support and my rock and through so many phases of my life. And there's also sisterhood wounds there, right? Often it was, the middle girl in middle school who made fun of what you were wearing or, how you looked or, something, that there were these kind of wounds that could sometimes make us shrink. And so for me, a lot of it is just being able to show up authentically as ourselves, to have permission to do that, to have giving ourselves permission to be seen wholly. I'm a recovering perfectionist and overachiever, still recovering, right? But trying to drop some of that, right? Like where I don't have to be perfect to be loved. I don't have to be perfect to be seen or accepted or worthy. And so just trying to help other women get there. And I think, for me, part of I've been a counselor for over 20 years now, and I originally started working with women, mainly sexual abuse and domestic violence survivors. And so, women who are really trying as survivors to reclaim their power after some trauma. And so I think that's where the roots started. And then now doing relationship work as a counselor, I feel, I think so many of our wounds are relational, right? They were either from maybe how our parents showed up, oftentimes because they didn't know better, right? They were doing the best they could with what they had generationally. Or, just whatever past things that wounded us, and they were relational. And now in relationship is often the time we get to heal those wounds relationally as well. And so I find that really beautiful and powerful too.
So do you know how, because that's, I think, one of the issues I have with my husband, do you have like an advice to, for couples who feel stuck a bit in the routine, because I think routine just kills love. Okay. And, if we want some magic back in the relationship, I know we have to work on the marriage, blah, 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 but
yeah,
is that something we can do?
So we have a really easy tool.
Okay.
Easy-ish. I'm going to go with easy-ish. So we call it our How to Love Me list. So if your husband is willing to play this game, what we do is, or whoever out there,
yes,
but yes, who's listening, husband or
we
wife.
don't discriminate here, exactly.
Is, the idea is we're all different. None of us came with a manual on, how we should love people or how we want to be loved. And so we designed this idea of we're going to create a list. So I have a list. I wrote it down of 10 things that James does or can do that make me feel loved.
It's a little longer than 10 now, but
yeah, but we start with 10. And now I'm adding to it. Oh, by the way, but yeah, and he did the same, right? 10 things. So your initial exercise is 10, more or less, 9, 11, whatever your jam is fine. But list of things that your partner can do that make you feel loved, right? Because we're all different. And so for me, I love that he makes the coffee in the morning. He does that every day, more or less. It makes me feel loved. It makes me feel taken care of. Like, I love that he does that, right? So that is on my list. For him, it's less about if I get out of bed early and make the coffee and more about he's like a puppy dog. He just wants me to like scratch behind his ear, or like hold his hand.
Without having to ask for it.
Yep. That's what makes it, right?
Yes.
And so we each wrote our list of 10. We then shared them with each other, asked any clarifying questions. And
you want to get very specific.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
okay.
I like when you bring me a gift home on Wednesday afternoons, like,
at 4 p.m.
4 p.m. Or like once. And this is important because as you're going through this list, it helps you get really clear on what they're asking.
Yeah, cute story. We had some clients that were doing this, and one of the things were on her list was that she liked when he left her little like surprise love notes. So he really took that to heart, and he started writing her love notes, multiple a day. They turned into letters. I mean, they were like pages long, right? And she started getting them, and she was like,
we get on our next coaching call a week later, and she's like, we're like, how's the list going? She was like,
I mean, it's really sweet, and I liked him more when they were surprised. And when I know he's going to write me a novel every day, it's not really a surprise.
So she got on it was the surprise affection versus the
Yes.
affection, right? So anyways, you write these lists down and then you go through what is it about this that you like, and then what we say is you post them. Once these lists are there, you've traded them and gone over.
So you're going to put them somewhere you're going to see them. We recommend like bathroom mirror because you're brushing your teeth every morning, you see them, or underwear drawer, whatever, somewhere you're going to see it every day. And then you just pick one a day to do for your partner. So I pick one thing off of James' list every day. He doesn't know which one it's going to be.
Surprise.
Right? And it's just a way to start putting some intention and kind of rekindling some of those things, right, that make our partner feel warm and fuzzy and loved.
Which is another way of saying we're starting at the very base level here of building intimacy. So if you want to get passion and spark back in your relationship, like there's lots of ways to do that. Sure. What we find, or to try that, but what we find works best is let's get to, am I feeling loved? Is she treating me and doing things in a way that fill my love bucket and vice versa? Which ultimately is the kind of intimacy language and style that we want to receive. And so now that we're getting the intimacy that we want, then we're able to now give more of the intimacy that they want. And it creates this beautiful vortex.
Yeah, and if it's creating that kind of safe container of, oh, I feel loved, I feel appreciated, right? Then so many other types of intimacy become available and on the table, right? When that base core need is met.
Yeah. So start easy and go from there, right? Yeah. Do a little list.
Yeah.
Angela is cleaning the toilet on the list too or not?
I love it.
I'm going to add it now. It was on my list 15 years ago. I'm putting it back on.
I mean, seriously, like who gets a list? Who gets a manual, on how to love your partner, and who even takes the time generally to think like, what makes me feel loved, right?
Mm-hmm.
So all of a sudden, like what was cool is I did that list and there were a few things that she was doing that make me feel loved that I didn't necessarily realize. It's like, oh, that does make me feel loved, So it's a really cool exercise and we really encourage each of you to try that.
Yeah,
Easy
you
way
guys
to
are,
start.
yeah, you're really conscious in your relationship. That's for sure. You're really there. It's not automatic. You're not like robot. I really love it. It's very important. Maybe that's if we do that more, there will be less divorce. I think sometimes people don't take also marriage seriously. So at the first issue, they ask for divorce. So yeah. Is there anything you want to add before that I didn't ask? Maybe something you want to share with us?
Coming up for you.
I think one of the things we also talked to, which is kind of a follow-up to the question you just asked about bringing that spark back, that can get kind of like, I don't know, put out by some routine and just life throwing things at you, is we really look at intimacy holistically. Right? Mm-hmm. So there's emotional intimacy, intellectual, spiritual, physical, which is more like affection, sexual, right? There's all these different types of intimacy. And one thing we've really worked on is trying to fill each other's intimacy buckets, one in the way that the other person likes to receive it, right? So for me, I really need emotional intimacy to feel that connection and that safety and that love and security for the other types of intimacy to be available for me, right? James loves physical intimacy, right? I said he's like a puppy dog. He likes me to scratch behind his ear and hold his hand and all those things to feel close and connected, right? So how do we fill each other's intimacy style and intimacy buckets, how they want to be filled, because every person's different. And then also just recognizing that anytime we're filling any type of intimacy, it's also helping all of the buckets rise. And there's, times in life where, I just had a baby and no, there's not any sexual intimacy happening right now, right? I'm recovering and all the things. And so what other types of intimacy are available in this moment? Can we cuddle on the couch? Can we, give each other, express gratitude and words of affirmation and that kind of stuff? But what types of intimacy are available to us right now that are going to help us feel connected? And that's one of the things we kind of help couples with, especially if some of that spark has died, which is normal. It is totally normal. It happens to all of us, right? We get in these seasons of things are routine and we're just, kind of become roommates because we're trying to make life happen.
career,
Work, kids.
whatever.
I know. That's the word, roommate. The word that scares me. I don't want that. I don't want to, I had roommates. That was great.
Right.
I don't want my husband to be a roommate.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's that connection and intimacy. This is what makes it all worth it. We can have the kids, we can build the wealth, we can have the investments,
The house,
the vacations, the experiences. But if we're not, we could be at the most amazing place on the planet, but if we're fighting or not connected, like what's the point? We can build the biggest empire in the world, but if we're going to separate and have to split it all up, what's the point?
Yeah.
And so this is what makes it all worth it. And I'm telling you right now, it's not easy at times. It can be easy a lot of the time. And sometimes
you have to put in the work.
It's gonna, for me, she will reflect back, or the thing that I just don't want to deal with shows up, right? Which is then what our marriage gets kind of crunchy over. And so in that point, it's hey, you know what? This is what's between me and the intimacy and connection that makes everything that I've been working for actually worth it. So this is me getting in my own way. This is my emotion getting in my own way. And so let's get that guy out of there so I can actually enjoy this beautiful life that we created together.
Yeah, you two made me think about something I saw on TV. I don't know if it's Japan or Taiwan, one of those two countries. People go to the doctor when they're healthy, just to check that everything is going well. They don't wait to be sick to go to see the doctor. They go all the time to check with the doctor if everything is okay, and they're healthy when they're healthy. So for me, that made me think of that. You go and you check, when everything is okay. This way you can prepare something bad happen, or you have the tools. Like this little list to get the routine better.
Yeah. You don't just brush your teeth once, right? It's a daily practice, right? That's
Yeah.
your teeth healthy. Same thing with a relationship, right? You just do your daily little doses. And if you do them every day, you have less cavities. You've got less things to repair later on, right?
Yes, true that.
Life is hard. Things are going to get challenging. When we are married for life, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years, however old you were when you got married. If you're married for the rest of your life, things are going to get hard at some point.
Yeah. Parents die, kids get sick, whatever it is, right? Life is going to throw things at you.
So, I know.
Yeah.
Talking about kids, how do the kids love Peru? Do they speak Spanish?
They do now.
Yeah, they have to now.
Yeah.
They learn very quickly, right? So
they learn so quickly. I'm a little jealous. When we came,
how old are they? Sorry.
10 tomorrow.
Wow.
12, and then 19 is the oldest, the one I had.
That's the perfect age, to learn another language.
No, that's our 12-year-old. Now, when we got here 5 months ago, I had the best Spanish in the family, and now I'm looking at our 12-year-old in some situations and going, "What's the word for that? How do you? What did she just say?" And she's now becoming my interpreter too, which I thought my Spanish was pretty good, but hers has surpassed mine, so it's beautiful.
That's great.
It was a very hard thing for her, right? She was so great in school back in the States, and best student here and awards there, and shows up here and can't even speak the language.
I know.
So I was really proud of both of our kids that came with us on this trip. They're of age to come with us, but really proud of the challenging things that they've done.
Resilience. And they're great now.
So they're not in bilingual school. They're they speak Spanish like Peru in school in Peru, and that's it.
We threw them in a full-on Spanish-speaking school, and we're like, "You're gonna learn Spanish.
Sink or swim, kids.
And someday you're gonna thank us. It might not be today, but someday you're gonna thank us."
Yeah, getting ready for life. Good parenting.
It's good for them.
Wow, that's great. Okay, so you offer a program online. If people want to connect with you, I will put, of course, all the information on the show notes if they want to contact you. And you do retreat. You also take care of some retreat during the year, right?
Yep, we do 2-on-2 couples coaching. We do the retreat that you can do on your own. You can just download the videos and do it on your own. You can buy that on our website, or we do facilitated retreats a couple times a year. We have a couple other courses. We have an intimacy course and a management course.
We got a few things to meet you where you're at.
For whatever kind of you're looking for and how much investment you're wanting to put into this. We've got options. Yeah.
Perfect. So I'm going to let you go back to your retreat because I think I'm, in the middle You need to go back.
Like we've had no clothes on all day, and like finally, like
I wish that were true. That's actually not true, but
It's a nude retreat. That's even better. For the people who are listening, no, they are wearing clothes. Okay.
yeah, it would have been really exciting if we showed up nude to our.
That would have been hilarious. I would have been laughing I'm not gonna say my ass off, but yeah, I would have died. It would have been very funny. I will put some filter for you guys, but don't worry about it. There's gonna be some clips on Instagram, so
your audience, enjoy this. We'll try that next time.
Okay. Sure, go ahead. All right, thank you for listening, guys, and we talk to you next week with other guests. Thank you.
Thank you.